With XLM's recent price surge, what is next here for Stellar? Guys, welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be diving into the world of Stellar Lumens, specifically to talk about the price action of XLM. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done and out of the way, let's dive down into the technical analysis here for Stellar. So guys, really want to kind of reiterate what we spoke about previously, and that is that there is a cup and handle pattern that has been forming on our daily chart. Okay, so we're going to just take this quickly, just draw it up so you can quickly just get a recap of where we were previously, right? So there's our cup, and what we were looking for previously was to basically complete our handle, and guess what, guys? We've gone ahead and done it. So all that's looking incredibly tidy now. So basically, here's your cup just on this side here. Okay, good cup, basically, and taking us down from, or starting really on June, beginning of June, coming down to these nice low areas during July, riding back up towards this area here at the end of August and beginning of September. Basically, September helps bring down the low point of our handle, and then we started to move up again in October, really now completing that handle. But what does that mean? Well, it means that this is an incredibly bullish pattern on the charts. It means that we are going to be breaking this, I guess, I want to call it a neckline, but a neckline just here, or the top of our cup and handle, and basically now take us to those next levels. The surge from here, from the high point of our handle, actually goes up to 57 cent, or to be more specific, according to the Fibonacci retracement, the 618. This is basically entering the main area now for the battles for the upside, right? Where we then start talking about potentially pushing up into new highs, and of course, potentially even talking about a new all-time high that's only really around the corner. Okay, so previously we actually surged up to 79.9 cent back in May of 2021. Okay, and basically that pullback from there has been quite significant. We were able to accumulate more XLM at 19.7 cent ahead of the next surge. And obviously this cup and handle pattern is really going to help us take us into that main battle zone of the 618, the 702, the 786, or to be more specific about it, 57 cent, 62 cent and 67 cent. Okay, those are the areas that we're talking about. Obviously, once we get past these and close above the 786 or 67 cent, we then be talking about moving past the previous high of 79.9. After that, it's the 1.618 at $1.17. The 2.618 comes in at $1.77, and the 3.618 comes in at $2.37. After that, it's the full 4.236 extension at $2.74. Now, I know a lot of people might be thinking, can it go any higher? And yes, it can. In order to really do that, we have to really consider more anchor points, okay? So everything is impulse waves. Okay, and if we take these into consideration, as in we have 1 here, we have the 2, which is quite a small one, we go to 3, we have a deep one for 4, and then obviously 5, which would go wherever the next level is, right? So when we start thinking about the progress that's being made so far with this cup and handle going up to the 57 cent zone, but what's after that? Well, if we want to think about this, we need to go ahead and use a trend-based fib extension, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take into consideration for this the impulse wave 3 and the correction wave 4. Using those two anchor points together, or the low of 2, the high of 3, and the low of 4, take those 3 anchor points, and then actually we'll get a more accurate picture of where things are potentially going. So we're going to do that. We're going to take that into consideration. We're going to grab these low points, and we're going to then see where the theoretical top could be here for Stellar Lumens. Now, we do have, obviously, over this side, $3.88. This is based on all-time high and bear market low. Okay, so based on current trading patterns, though, where does it go? Okay, and actually this looks, based on the trends of the wave 3, the wave 4, we actually get a $3.30 price prediction. That's the 4.236 extension, or 423.6%, and it's based on the trend. So there's two things that are going on here that are really important that we obviously understand and acknowledge, right? The first one, obviously, is that we have just the flat 2 anchor points, which is the fib that we saw previously. Okay, let me just move that out of the way for a sec so we can just get in about there. I'll have to correct that in a moment. But basically, we have the higher 3 and the lower 4. This gives us a nice kind of 4.236 extension of $2.74, right, that we just spoke about. Now, that's a pretty safe area. I think that's going to be fine for many people to kind of think about. But sometimes if you're a trader and you want to actually have more accurate kind of expectations, or you want to really push things to the extreme, then obviously there you would take all your trends into consideration, and actually this would then show you that $3.30. Now I'm just going to undo that and get that back into place so we can see $3.30. Okay, so two kind of ways to look at it. I'm going to actually remove the trend-based one because I want to be conservative. I want to make sure that people are locking in profits, and selling the top is incredibly difficult. Most people are going to actually make a loss that way, and you're not necessarily going to actually sell the top. In theory, you want to buy the bottom and sell the top, but that in practice is really difficult. Very few people actually do it. So therefore, we want to be conservative. We want to make sure that people lock in those profits nice and early, and don't worry about selling the top. Just get as close as you can to it. And obviously, moving from 270 to 330 could be quite a big deal for many people. And that's why I do this video, to show you those trends and where things are going next. Now, ultimately, for me and for many people in the space, I think making sure we lock in profits across these key areas just based on 3 and 4, not taking into consideration the impulse of wave 3 and the low of wave 4, and using the trends, but instead we actually gives us a nice conservative number. That actually brings us to the 611%, right? So from the current price up to $2.74 is a 611% move, and something that I think is pretty comfortable for many people, and something that I should think could happen in this particular cycle. Now, this for XLM could be the new year, Q1, or it could be the end of this year. Timing is always the hardest thing to get. And anyone who claims that they know the exact timing is, either an absolute genius or, it's just going to be wrong, because it's the hardest thing to kind of get, unfortunately. And with that being said, though, getting roughly in that ballpark figure, I do think Q1 for XLM is going to be the time when we start to see this thing absolutely pop to the upside. Overall, we're looking pretty good, right? So we have a good cup and handle pattern forming on our daily chart. We have good targets that are associated with it. We have a good surge up to the upside when we're talking about moving up to the 618. We also saw a good surge yesterday. And if I grab my price range, this moved up, I think it was like 30% according to CoinMarketCap. It had moved up nicely, pulled back a little bit. Again, that's quite normal. If we actually come down into our hourly chart, here you can see that good surge to the upside. I'm not sure what that price was. I'm sure CoinMarketCap had it at like 30%. We've got 20% here. But nonetheless, it's a good surge to the upside, and it pulled back down. Now, what you're seeing here is a natural correction after a good surge to the upside, moving us from the oversold area to the overbought area, now back down to the oversold area. The next expectation is to push up in a really good way and breach this neckline of our cup and handle and go up towards that 57-cent area. There's nothing that's going to be deviating away from that. It's looking pretty bullish on the chart here. But what about the underlying data? What does 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗀𝗧's artificial intelligence and machine learning tell us about XLM? So what we're going to do is we're going to load up, first of all, let's go home and actually find our Stellar. Okay, and we're going to see what this underlying data is actually telling us from the artificial intelligence, right? For Stellar. So here we have a B1 rating. It hasn't changed overall. And then we can go into a little bit more detail. We have a Sharpe ratio of an A2. So basically, the rewards outweigh the risks well above the 50-day average here for Stellar. Things are definitely heating up really nicely for XLM. Okay, the Fear and Greed Index is an A1, so extremely greedy. Bit of caution here. Why we've seen a pullback is this is the point where experienced traders, those day traders, seasoned professionals, will be taking profits. When the market is greedy, you take profits, and when it is fearful, you buy that fear. Obviously, not all the fear. And if you use the advice.io dashboard, you're going to get a little bit more clarity on where you want to be buying and selling. There's a link in the description down below. It's completely free to sign up and use, and you're going to get a lot more clarity on your cryptocurrency. So I do urge you guys, if you're not already signed up to advice.io, sign up. You won't regret it. So we've got an extremely greedy market. We've got a risk-reward ratio that's in your favor. And as we come on down here, we have an AMI-HAD ratio that's a rating of D. And this is interesting, right? So the only reason that we're a B2 rated cryptocurrency is that there's problems with liquidity. That is the only issue that we have that. Okay, other than that, moving averages are an A2 rating. The profitability is an A1 rating. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this underlying data other than the fact that it is a liquidity-based problem. That liquidity-based problem is not isolated just to XLM. It could And so it is related to many other cryptocurrencies. You take a look at pretty much most of them, in fact. VeChain, Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of them have liquidity-based problems right now. That could be centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, various different reasons as to why there are liquidity-based problems. But obviously, I do anticipate that those liquidity-based problems and issues are going to be resolved shortly, and things should be moving up nicely as well. So we do anticipate that there are some potential issues with buying and selling right now. With XLM and many of those altcoins that are potentially actually holding it back a little bit from its progress. But right now, everything's looking pretty good for XLM. I do anticipate a nice big surge to the upside overall as we head up towards 57 cent from our current position of 38.5. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found it useful and informative. If you have, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.